He likes to go to the same combinations, quite repetitively, whereas Crawford is unpredictable. And despite him not having the size, it's the shots that you don't see that hurt the most.
This lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy.
Terence Crawford issued a bold warning to Canelo Alvarez following their fight agreement, making it clear that he's coming to shake up the boxing world. "I'm a threat to him and his legacy," Crawford stated confidently. Already a dominant force across multiple weight classes, Crawford believes his speed, technique, and ring IQ will expose Canelo. He's not just here to fight.
Why he don't want to take a fight with me? If it's all about business, then you doing good business. If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy, because it would be crazy for a guy that started at 135 to come all the way up to 168, your weight, no catch weight, no none of that, and dethrone you. So, he got that in the back of his head. This guy, for one, he's tough. For two, he's a boxer. He moves, he can punch, he can do it all. I can't slip up and lose to this little guy. Then what will my fans think of me? What will my Mexican people think?
The fight now confirmed. Boxing experts see this as a fascinating clash of styles. Canelo Alvarez relies on powerful, repetitive combinations and elite counterpunching, making him a dangerous opponent. Terence Crawford, known for his unpredictability and sharp timing, could find openings if he times Canelo well. However, Crawford must prove that he has the power to earn Canelo's respect. Otherwise, the fight could become very difficult for him. Many believe Canelo's strength and experience at higher weight classes.
He likes to go to the same combinations, quite repetitively, whereas Crawford is unpredictable. And despite him not having the size, it's the shots that you don't see that hurt the most. And maybe Crawford can hit him with some unexpected shit. And because of the repetitiveness of Canelo, maybe he can time him. Maybe he can counterpunch with him, because Crawford is unbelievable at that. But I'm fascinated to see if Crawford has the power to get the respect of Canelo Alvarez, because when you don't, it's a long night. It's not nice. Like Crawford did well against Madrimov, and he won that fight for me quite clearly. But Madrimov was countering him. If you can counter the counter puncher, you can give them a lot of problems when they're not used to that. And Canelo can counter people really well. And as great as Terence Crawford is, we've never seen him in there with someone with the power of Canelo Alvarez. This is a different world of power. And look, maybe Canelo doesn't throw as many shots as he used to, and maybe Crawford might look at that and go, you know what, I'm going to try and outpoint this guy, not get into a war with him, but just show my boxing, genius and outpoint him and outland him. That's possible. It is. This is why this is such a fascinating matchup, man. We've been treated to some amazing fights. Usyk Fury, for example, this is another one of those mega fights on Rhea.
Hearn acknowledges that Canelo Alvarez has already cemented his legacy in boxing and doesn't need to justify a fight with Jake Paul. He points out that Canelo is now more of a businessman, taking the fight not for legacy or competition, but for the massive payday.
And that's just being honest. And I think what he has done in his career, he's proven everything, right? His resume is unbelievable. And if you want to make 100 million to fight Jake Paul, right? Like the thing is about Canelo, he don't tell any lies. He's very transparent, right? He's not going to try and justify this fight to you that, no, what I'm doing it to bring boxing to a wider audience. No, he's doing it for a sackload of money. So whenever you put an opponent forward to Canelo Alvarez, his question is, how much? And he's a businessman at this stage in his career, right? And at the end of the day, someone is offering him whatever it will be, 80 million, 100 million, 120, to fight Jake Paul. A fight in which there is absolutely no risk. And by the way, you can't criticise Jake Paul, because the criticism for Jake Paul has always been, when are you going to fight someone decent? Well, guess what? He might be fighting Canelo Alvarez. I don't hate it. I'll be watching.
Maybe time to give up the belts, though. That's the fight he's taking.
Yeah, maybe. Might be his last
Hearn
fight.
defends Jake Paul, noting that while he's often criticized for not facing top-tier opponents, he might now be stepping into the ring with Canelo. However, Hearn admits that Jake has no real chance, calling Canelo a dangerous fighter. He believes Jake will lose.
Boxing, no one's surprised that a fight like that's getting made. And I know you've gone out and said you do respect Jake Paul for getting in there. Canelo's a totally different beast to, you know, a definitely out of his prime Mike Tyson. Just talk about how much respect you would have for Jake for taking that fight.
Only respect because of the money. I mean, he's not doing it for free. He's not doing it because he wants to prove himself as a great fighter. He's doing it for 100 mil as well, or whatever he's getting. Do you know
It's
what I
a
mean?
very, very scary man.
It's dangerous, and he's going to get spanked.
How many rounds?
However many Canelo wants it to be. I mean, the only thing is, Jake's going to be a lot heavier and bigger. But you're not, listen, no disrespect to Jake's ability as a fighter. He's fighting Canelo Alvarez, who is one of the top fighters in the world. So, like, he's going to get spanked, but he's going to make a lot of money.
Just a day ago, renowned boxing promoter Eddie Hearn confirmed that a fight between Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez is in serious discussion. Hearn made it clear that Canelo is always ready to fight, as long as the financial offer is right. Give Canelo the money and he'll fight anyone, Hearn stated, whether it's Turkey Alec or anyone else making the offer. This statement makes it clear that Canelo is open to facing Jake Paul, provided the business side makes sense. Money has always been a major driving force in boxing, and like any top fighter, Canelo is willing to take on big fights that promise
Nothing really. I mean, it was all very sudden, wasn't it? Is it in relation to the Jake Paul fight? I don't know. I mean, look, Canelo, I'd say always, Canelo don't care, right? Give him the money and he's going to fight. He doesn't really have, and this isn't a negative towards him, because he makes it clear. He has no loyalty to anyone, right? None to me, none to PBC, none to Turkey Al-Sheikh. Pay me the money, I will fight whoever you want me to fight. That's basically it. So I guess the talk was a Crawford fight. Now it looks like the Jake Paul fight is done, by all accounts. So does that make the Crawford fight less appealing? Because he's kind of moving into that world now. And I don't blame him, because he's going to make an absolute fortune to punch Jake Paul. And I don't mind the fight, I've got to be honest with you. Like, I've given Jake stick over the years because he's done some things that I didn't like, and I'm just being honest. But you have to respect him for taking the Canelo fight. He's doing that because there's a huge amount of money on the table, but I don't mind seeing it. So yeah, I don't know I've no idea whether it's in relation to that or whatever. I've not had one conversation about it, but certainly, you know, Canelo moving into that world, if you like, changes things perhaps in terms of...
Initially, Canelo Alvarez was considering a bout against Jake Paul in May, while also engaging in discussions for a potential fight with Terence Crawford. However, Turkey Al-Sheikh, chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, was reportedly displeased with the idea of Canelo facing Paul. As a result, the Canelo versus Jake Paul fight was canceled.
We decided to pull the plug on the Canelo-Terence Crawford fight September 13th at Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas, due to the fact that Canelo Alvarez was trying to do a side deal outside of his 3-fight deal with Turkey Al-Sheikh in Riyadh season to fight YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul May 3rd. Turkey Al-Sheikh wasn't happy with it. And so with that said, instead of getting 2 Hall of Fame iconic fighters, first ballot Hall of Famers, in Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez in September, Turkey Al-Sheikh decided, I'll find a new super fight for Terence Crawford, and we'll take the deal off the table for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez then decides, nope, he and his team pick up the phone. They have a conversation with Turkey Al-Sheikh, and Turkey Al-Sheikh and Canelo come to a 4-fight deal that's going to cancel the Jake Paul fight May 3rd, Las Vegas at the T-Mobile, and is now going to see Canelo Alvarez possibly face William Skull, the IBF undefeated Puerto Rican champion at 168.
Boxing trainer Greg Hackett weighed in on the rumored matchup between Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez. He clarified that the proposed fight wasn't just speculation and asserted that Canelo cannot fight Crawford. Hackett's insights highlight the complexities and behind-the-scenes negotiations involved in high...
All right, so news got leaked that Canelo Alvarez and Jake Paul in May.
What?
That, yeah, like, so you got people that think it's a rumor. I can confirm that it's not a rumor. This is something that we've known for a long, I'm going to say we've known for about 3 to 4 weeks.
That's not going to be a real fight, though. So that means Bud ain't happening.
No. They talking about Bud in September. Canelo, Jake Paul in that.
If he fight Jake Paul, he ain't going to fight Bud. Because I'm going to tell you why. He got to go up for Jake Paul. He got to go up for Jake Paul. Jake Paul not coming under 200 pounds. You understand? Canelo going to do the same thing Roy did to his body. Going to go up and bring it back down, 68? Fuck no. He going to do
Paul
the same.
took to Twitter to express his frustration over Canelo. Alvarez backing out of their highly anticipated fight. He tweeted, "Breaking news. Canelo Alvarez ducked me. He's now a controlled puppet with no pride for the Mexican people who support him on U.S. soil. It's not surprising. His entire career, he's done nothing for the sport outside the ring. I'm the new face of boxing. You can't have the biggest fight of 2025 without me. When your events tank and lose money, you'll all realize who the real king is. I'm 28, headlining the biggest fight in boxing history. I'm my own boss, not owned. It's been 5 years, and all of you doubters want to see me fail, but God has other plans. It's the era of good, the era of the elephant, the era of MVP, following the cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez has reportedly signed a 4-fight deal with Turki Al-Sheikh. This agreement marks a major shift in...
All right, let's do this. Canelo versus Crawford, confirmed. Not a rumor, not speculation, not he said, she said, or someone leaking the story, confirmed. And I guess the confirmation doesn't get much more rock solid than the Ring Magazine putting this story out first. Ring Magazine, obviously owned by Turkey. Turkey would have been the one to put this deal together, and Turkey would have had to give the green light for the Ring Magazine to even put that story out. That's as confirmation as you need it. That's it. The fight will happen in September. Touch wood, no injuries. Wow. Easily the biggest fight of 2025. I said a few days ago, Benavidez-Morale was my most intriguing fight of 2025. Obviously, that's now been put down to second place because this has been announced. Nothing can be announced.
Marks a major turning point in Canelo's career, aligning him with new promotional partners and paving the way for high-profile matchups.
That you'd like to go up against Canelo Alvarez. What gives you the right to call out a 59-2 boxer, one of the greatest of all time, when you've not yet proven yourself?
I'm predicting what's going to happen 3 more years from now.
So I'm
going to get to his skill level and beat him. I have one of the greatest self-belief systems in the world, and I know what I'm capable of, and with this new team, I can give Canelo a serious for his money.
Would you ever do like exhibitions like that, or like people like Jake Paul call you out, or these like other big stars? Like, is that business wise like even worth it?
When I'm done with boxing, why not? Maybe I'll do it. I think it's
like when you're done like competing at the highest level, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's good because what happened there is other people who never watch boxing, or they don't know anything about boxing, they want to watch Jake Paul because he's coming from he bring fans from other world, right? Yeah. That's good because everybody enjoy it.
Would you ever entertain that idea when you're done?
Maybe.
The adult reports that negotiations surrounding Canelo Alvarez's next fight have generated significant speculation. However, Jake Paul's involvement seems to have shifted the focus, with reports suggesting that a potential fight between him and Canelo has been canceled. Eddie Hearn has not ruled out a Canelo versus Crawford matchup, but the current hype and Jake Paul's promotional efforts strongly indicate that his fight with Canelo is on track. If confirmed, this matchup could draw massive attention. As Paul
ago, you heard what Terence Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. You know, he's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'd be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him test himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with Spence. He did almost look very easy. But I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing.
Al-Alshik released a video message discussing Canelo Alvarez's 4-fight agreement during the Riyadh season.
Pound for pound great being the hang-up in the fight, being the one that stops the momentum. Because it's not happening. There is no world.
Okay, then let me ask you
this. May I be
this.
struck by lightning right now if this is possible?
Wow,
a lightning bet.
If this happens, if this happens.
There's just no way. There is no way.
Wait. If what happens? If the fight happens, or if the upset of the century happens?
If Jake Paul derails Terence Crawford versus Canelo by beating Canelo,
then you book Jake Paul versus Terence Crawford.
Zero.
Okay, let me ask you this: if that fight ends up being close,
yes,
a lot of people are going to watch that fight, right? A lot,
because I think a lot of people are going to want to see Jake Paul lose, and
100%. Canelo's going to do this. Canelo would do this, and we're just talking.
Let's backtrack to your first question, which is interest. I'm very interested because, as I've long said, I'm on this corner. I only care about Jake Paul in spectacles. It would be an absolute spectacle to see a pound for pound. First, he did Mike Tyson, which, and I'm not going all the way back, but I'm saying in his most recent outing, Mike Tyson, an all-time legend, a pop culture icon versus Jake Paul, is a spectacle. Now you're going the opposite direction to nearly in his prime. We'll say maybe like he's on the back nine, but he's still close to his prime. He's still a top 5 pound for pound on pretty much anybody's list fighter going against Jake Paul. I'm in for the spectacle. I'm in. I don't think Jake Paul has a chance in hell, but I'm in for the spectacle.
And how long has he been beating the drum on this? He's been saying he's going to do this forever.
Listen, let's see what happens. He urged fans not to overlook this development, emphasizing the positive impact these events will have on the sport of boxing. Al-Alshik's involvement adds a new dimension to boxing promotions.
Right, that'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo, 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness, but I mean he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that smoke.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's a weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah.